With us now is California Senator Alex Padilla, who sits on the Judiciary Committee. Senator, it's always a pleasure to see you. What do you hope will come out of today's hearing?
Good to see you again, Jose. And yes, in a few minutes, I'll be rejoining that hearing myself. Look, I think we need to continue the momentum and continue the push to advance smart gun safety laws in America that will help protect not just the general population, but especially our children. To think that the tragedy in Uvalde, Texas, right on the heels of other mass shootings in the country, but to see the images of elementary school students who didn't have to die should bring anybody to tears and should bring Congress to action. We're on the verge of that. As with any sort of big deal that happens, it's going to be way too much for some people, not enough for others. Oh, how I wish that we were banning assault weapons in this process, or banning large capacity magazines in this process. But if we can incentivize states to adopt these red flag warning laws that have proven helpful in states that have them, if we can invest significantly in mental health and more, then it's absolutely worth doing.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that Senator McConnell now says he supports that bipartisan framework, it's just a framework right now. It's still in the process of being written. This would be significant in that I guess the last time there was any movement on it was when Bill Clinton was in the White House.
Exactly. It's been decades. And, for the last decade, since Sandy Hook Elementary in Connecticut, our hearts have been broken time and again after shooting after shooting. I am confident that we will get to the finish line here. I know it's just a framework now, as it should be. The concepts and the outline is one thing. Once you get into specific language, We'll see the final details, but in talking to both my Democratic colleagues, particularly Senator Murphy, who's been lead on these negotiations, he, like myself, not just a senator, but a father of young kids, very passionate about this, but also many conversations with my Republican colleagues, including Senator Cornyn, who was sort of tapped by Mitch McConnell to lead negotiations on the Republican side. I do think there's a true commitment here. I do think there's good faith here. It seems like everybody's on the same page. We just need to see the final language and get it scheduled for a floor vote, which Leader Schumer has committed.
And Senator, as you know better than anybody else, today marks 10 years since President Obama created the DACA program that has temporarily protected hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants who came to this country when they were children. They know no other country but ours. It allows them to live, work, and study in the U.S. You just actually came from a press conference talking about the anniversary. What's your message?
Yeah, my message is sort of mixed. On the one hand, we celebrate 10 years of DACA protections, which have allowed hundreds of thousands of these young people to prosper in America. They've excelled in school. They're excelling in the workplace. Many are working in jobs that the federal government has deemed essential throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. But the tragedy is Congress has failed to act, has failed to codify these protections into federal law, let alone advance more comprehensive modernization of our immigration laws. And to think that so many of these DACA recipients live in limbo. DACA has been challenged time and again by Republicans and other conservatives. There's pending litigation that will determine whether these young people who are completely Americans, by the way, except for one piece of paper, will be able to continue to live in the United States, contribute to the success of our country, or face a tough decision of whether to go back into the shadows or have to leave the country.
So, Senator, why can't dealing with DACA be what we're just seeing with the issue of guns? Why can't there be a bipartisan group of senators that can get together and work on a framework on this? And you always, and it's so important that I kind of underline that you are always, it's such an important point to mention that there is the crisis, the humanitarian crisis at the border, and then there is immigration in our country. And I know you always separate those two as needs to be separated. But, Senator, why can't there be some bipartisan group talking about this?
Yeah, look, I'm hopeful, and there are bipartisan discussions happening literally as we speak. You know, we tried last year unsuccessfully. We know we were looking at the Build Back Better package and the reconciliation process as a way to advance immigration reforms. We've pleaded with the White House to use their executive authority, but a recent hearing in the Judiciary Subcommittee that I chair sort of reopened these bipartisan conversations. We had a hearing about 2 months ago, specifically on documented dreamers, that brought Republicans back to the table. We just had another hearing yesterday, sort of highlighting the positive impact of immigrants on workforce and the economy. Right? Prior segments, you're talking about inflation in America, which every family is feeling. Economists, business leaders are pointing to a labor shortage as a key contributor to higher prices. And a significant contributor to the labor shortage is our broken immigration system. So all the reasons are there. Republicans are talking to us once again. And the bottom line is, Jose, it's been 10 years. We're not giving up until we get this done.
Well, Senator Alex Padilla, it's always a pleasure to see you. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jose. Have a great day.